Sportsview London, boxing news from the capital city with a magic man, Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie, long fight over from America, and how are you feeling, sir, to be fighting back in the UK?
I feel good. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here and actually be part of the show. It's a massive card, and it excites me to know that I have a part in it.
Yeah, the last time I saw you fight in the UK was on Ricky Hatton's undercard against Lovemore Undo, and you had the dreadlocks. But the atmosphere experience there, you know, maybe the hatred from the crowd because you were about to fight Ricky, but the atmosphere, I remember you sort of, you know, you loved it, didn't you, to fight in that?
I love a crazy atmosphere, be it positive or negative for me. And the Brits always bring a festive kind of atmosphere, whether they cheer against you or they cheer for you, and that's always a pleasure to fight in front of crowds like that. Always full of emotion, always full of passion. For me, they're the best fans in the world, and I've been back here since that fight, working as a pundit on several other cards, and they never disappoint. Every time they've never disappointed. I was back here for Hatton vs. Sinchenko. I was back here for Frosh vs. Groves 2 at Wembley. I was back here for the Kell Brook vs. Frankie Gavin fight earlier this year. Crowds never disappoint, both in the way they sell out arenas, as well as in the way they cheer, sing, and chant, and just keep it loud the whole night. And that's what, as entertainers, as fighters, we love hearing that when we're in the ring.
Most definitely. Paulie, can you just talk through what's gone on in the last few days? 1 minute you're fighting one fighter for European title, one now.
Yeah, I had a shot at the European title all set up, and Gianluca Branco pulled out at the last minute. I don't think he ever intended to fight me. There's been a bit of a history with me and Branco, dating back to about a decade ago or whatnot, you know, when Top Rank flew me into Puerto Rico to watch his fight with Miguel Cotto, and I was the next opponent in line, and he didn't like that the next opponent in line had already been flown in before he had caught his beating from Cotto. And the fact that I was Italian offended him even more, you know, because I guess he felt like, you know, I shouldn't have been taking part in something like that. At the end of the day,
this is quite deep rooted.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was just business. But he's always had that grudge against me, and always word gets back to me how he's talking about how I'm not even really Italian, how I'm American, and you know, I don't deserve to be mentioned in the Italian press like that. At the end of the day, it's a bit of envy, a bit of jealousy. I take his headlines because he's a pretty well-known fighter out of Italy, but on a worldwide stage, I have a bigger name. So when I'm in Italy, if boxing news comes up, I guess I take headlines that might belong to him otherwise. And I think at the end of the day, it's been a bit of jealousy, a bit of envy. It's a shame because I thought when he won the European title, it would have been an easier fight to make, but instead I was probably better off with Rafael Jacowicz beating him last year. I would have probably already fought for the European title. We tried to make the fight earlier this year in the spring, and he had some kind of random injury, surgery or whatnot, so I went another direction. And then we tried to make the fight now, and again, the fact that he waited till the fight was officially announced to pull out, all he did was try to steal my name for headlines. That's all he did. I mean, he could have pulled out a while back. Instead, he waits for the fight to be officially announced, and then he pulls out with no explanation. I mean, there's no explanation. He's saying on my Twitter that the terms were never agreed to. I know the terms were agreed to. I know what he was making, and he was making a lot more money than a European title defense makes, because I'm with Al Heyman, and Al Heyman will pay more than fights are worth just to make the fights that his fighters want. So I know he was making a lot of money. So it had nothing to do with the terms. Then being that I blew up his spot with that excuse, and it came out that it wasn't true. He goes to the Italian press yesterday and tells the Italian press he had an injury beforehand. So it was just it was a frustrating thing because even he doesn't know what excuse he's going to use next. You know,
well, I
think at the end of the day he didn't want to fight. And like I said, the fact that he waited for the headline to come out, he stole mine. He basically used my name to get headlines out of his name, because he's at this point in his career, he's nobody. Not that he ever was a somebody, but basically he figured he'd take some of the pressure, get his name big in some of the press releases, and then there was no intention of fighting me. So disappointing. I thought it was immature. I thought it was a low blow. This is a 45-year-old man we're talking about here. We're not talking about a kid. I think there's certain ways you act when you're an adult. But offended as I am, I have to thank Al Heyman and Eddie Hearn at Matchroom for making this fight still possible. Al made sure we worked out terms with another opponent, Antonio Moscatiello, and Eddie Hearn kept me on the show here. Matchroom Promotions kept me on the show here. So big thanks to those guys, and I look to put on a good show, because that's the silver lining here, is the fact that I still get to fight in front of the British crowd, those were the two things I was most excited about. One was winning the EVU title, and two was fighting in front of this passionate British crowd again. And so
on box office as well.
Yes, on a huge card, on a huge in a huge arena, sold out. So I may have lost the first part, but the second part still excites me, and I plan on making good on that.
Probably just finally from me, Anthony Joshua taking on Dillian Whyte for the Commonwealth and vacant British title. How do you see that fight going, sir?
I think it's an interesting fight. Whyte still has to go a lot of rounds. Whyte brings two things to the table. He brings an amateur win over Joshua, so there's a bit of a storyline there. But he also brings an undefeated record. And when you know boxing, as I know it, you know that fighters with undefeated records, they don't go down as easily as maybe even faded veterans who may teach your prospects some things, but won't bite down as much when the going gets tough because they're kind of long in the tooth already. Whyte doesn't have that problem. Whyte still has an undefeated record. He still has that passion about his career. He does not have a losing mentality at all. You have to beat it into him because he still hasn't felt it. He's still got the O on his record. And I think for that reason, he may be able to take some of Joshua's thunder, maybe return some fire back. And I can't say that maybe there'll be an upset or whatnot. I'm not going to go that far, but what I will say is we may get a chance to see what happens when some punches come Joshua's way. Be it he gets hit or not, we get to see the way he reacts. Even if he reacts correctly to making the punches miss, his technical skills, fundamentals, defensively, or if he gets hit, we'll see how he reacts character-wise or his chin. I think maybe we may get some more answers about Anthony Joshua. I think he's a tremendous prospect and definitely one to see and one to look out for. But I don't think Dillian Whyte is here to play.
Paulie Malignaggi, I thank you for your time, sir. Much appreciated. Boss.